pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I found two mistakes in the minutes. Did you get a chance to look at it?
I'm just looking at it now, but I haven't seen
Two
it.
mistakes is when you read where it says Matt, it should say to redo for the Effingham Road. It's got do redo. Yeah, and then on another one back there, it was talking about services. You got a 4 in there. That's the only two that I see. I think that's very rough for the back of it.
I can look at it. Oh, yeah, two we do, yeah, I see it.
I may have to have a agenda thing, because it's not letting me get on.
I've got one here.
You got one here, so I can kind of follow it. Thank you.
Here's the flag, I think,
Yeah.
at 1:15, it was Donna, and 1:30 is the,
I think it's got the last paragraph.
It's something about Pat Anderson and services. It's got 4.
I thought I spell checked, and I guess it was on that one.
Oh, yeah, right at the very top line on the second page. SER and support device extension agreement.
Okay. I'll get those corrected.
I don't know, are we supposed to get that 50 on the pad, or?
For what?
Are we
Well, it's
supposed to
better
get?
to be,
Better to be, yeah.
I'm fine.
Okay, I entertain a motion to approve the minutes with those 2 changes.
I so move.
I say, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried 2-0. I have a JCAP meeting Thursday. And did you attend any of the city?
No, I did go to the Effingham City Council meeting Monday night and was asking them about why they didn't ever sign their interlocal agreement, and I had Pat give me a copy of the Atchison's. They wanted to see Atchison's, how it was signed and presented, so they have signed it, but she said she's gonna get it to fall in here, Effingham is. It's gonna pass the fact that I was wanting to get on that since Mike had told me that we kind of need to get these interlocal agreements finished up so before their budget hearings, and so I'm just basically touching base with them on that and get on that probably next May or June, get their interlocals started. Now, how do we need to generate the new agreement, or to have them sign for next year, or how?
Well,
I don't know how that process works.
yeah.
Is it?
I think it's probably a 2-step process, and one is to reach an agreement about it, and the other is to write it down. The problem with presenting them something that says, here's what we want you to sign, is it's not really negotiation, it's here's what we want. And so we could do that. The only things that are really going to change, I think, are the percentages or the numbers, whichever way you do it. I know the city of Atchison had preferred to use a dollar figure rather than a percentage. I think some of the cities have preferred to use a percentage. If the funds go up, they go up. If they go down, they go down. Either is probably okay.
Okay. See, I don't know how that's generated, so that's the reason I was, if I'm going to the city council meetings, if they are just okay with the current rate, or I'd indicated, Mike had told me that he had hoped that Effingham and Muskota would raise theirs some because of the transfer fees.
Well, aren't we really talking about two things? We're talking about they haven't signed the old one, and now it's time to make up a new one.
Right. Right. And Effingham, since I went to the meeting, presented them that, they're going ahead and finishing their old one, but, you know, it's almost past the fact now on that, but I was kind of getting things in line and wanting to know if they were okay with going forward on the next one and getting it done now instead of, you know, catching up a year later like we did last year. It happens that way. They are fine with, you know, the way it's working and the percentages or whatever. I had asked him if Mike had brought up to him that they'd like a little more, and they said, yeah, they were aware of it, but they didn't commit, or, you know, nothing was, I wasn't there to negotiate that, but they're okay with it, I mean, if that's what needs to be. And then I have a meeting tomorrow with the Joint Communications, so.
Okay. This, well, we had, in the past, we didn't do an old business, new business, but it says there in new business, come before the board. And we're waiting on Don at 1:15, so we got 5 minutes. The only new business, you consider it is, I took pizza out to the shop, and, one of the employees showed me, what's the technical name of that?
Lay down machine.
Lay down machine. It's getting pretty, abused and used, and I told them to kind of get a parts list roughly how much it's gonna cost, because it wasn't in the budget, and we'll go from there.
Now, this is a refurbish or repair on the.
We're talking about repair.
Okay.
It's a machine that lays asphalt.
Yeah.
Is this a high dollar item, or is
So I
it?
guess 75 to 100. Now, that's just a guess. I may be wet, but I'm just guessing.
I think it's probably right around there, for a new machine.
For a new machine,
Yeah.
I mean, what about parts? Or you don't have to fix this one?
They're gonna kind of go through it, and they say, well, how far do we go? I said, that's a good question.
I don't know, until it needs the tracks are wore out on it.
The rubber's wore from off the track, and the guy says when he goes to turn it, they got it as tight as they can get it, and it wants to climb off the sprockets.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
Until they have an estimate, I don't know, but.
they did say that it's recommended to have the lay down 90 days before chip and seal. Is that right? And so I said, was this something we can wait on, to let the new person, kind of look things over? And they said, then that's when they said, well, it should be, the lay down should be 90 days prior to chip and seal. Of course, we don't chip and seal till what, June, July?
We always try to start around July 1st, right in there. A lot of times it's later than that, but that's when we shoot for. When, that's usually some of the hottest days of the summer.
And I believe, this year or next year, we had a new oil spreader truck and a dump truck, so that lay-down machine wasn't in the budget. It breaks down, or I don't wanna get more into it than it's worth. I don't know what the resale value is or anything else.
Okay, yeah, that's something that you can stretch it and put it in the budget for next year possibly. We could get by.
Just have to wait to see if they come up with parts and stuff. They thought they could do some in the shop, but, they didn't.
I had ran into Jim Lampy this morning, when I walked in the courthouse, and we went see if there's any progress in the basement yet, talking about some things. He had been to a meeting somewhere, and there is someone interested in his position in the future. So he brought up a resume, and I know we're not to that point yet, but I told him that, yeah, that will be something that's coming up right around the corner.
Okay, is this person willing to work part-time like Jim is now?
We didn't really go into it. He just said this guy was interested, expressed an interest, and I said, well, if you want to,
You got copies?
yes, and I really put one there on his list too, so, I just ran it forth. I know we haven't posted it, even went through anything, but, that's gonna be right around the corner.
Here we go. What's the progress? You put it in the basement, or?
Well, that big chest with the drawers, that's all gone. And, I mean, it's looking,
All they had, 6 envelopes with people interested in something, bid on something.
That bookcase, and I don't know if there's any for the table or not.
Well, it's not that bookcase, because then it's nothing to $25.
No, that was already gone.
Oh, you're talking about, okay.
This is the big one, kind of looks like this.
oh, the ones that are standing down there, yeah.
It looks just like this one.
Yeah.
It has kind of an L shape.
But it's looking cleaned out at least, you know, you can kind of visualize the space now. If that table was out of there, it would really start looking up.
I don't know if there's any on the table or not.
I was just trying to get an idea. I had a few minutes, so anyway.
I was looking at it last week, and I forgot about that. Do you have any more new business on that?
TechSync did sign the extension agreement. You guys have already signed it. So we get to sign the original, the on for our records. Yeah, TechSync has a signed original as well. Just kind of housekeeping there. Each year, we do contracts with our court-appointed attorneys, and we basically did those in December, and did bring them up to have you all sign. They're essentially the same as last year. Maybe we call Jeff's back, and they're set up just for the chairman's signature.
Well, probably not gonna act on all of our stuff today unless it's have to today.
Yeah,
We have full commission.
and it's not. So we can certainly wait on this stuff.
Okay, a minute. If you're willing to go a minute early, we're ready for it.
We're ready, if you're ready.
Judge, yeah. Judge's not here.
Okay, I made a copy as well. Do you want me to leave it here?
You can.
Okay. Well,
I don't know, I don't think it's
okay, last time I was here, we had one bid, and it was requested that we did a couple more bids. So that's what we worked on. So the bid that we would like to propose is the one on top, which is, electronic office system. This is a company out of Lee's, Missouri. And we're getting a discounted price because it is a demo unit, it's only been used once or twice. And so they were going to sell it to us at a cheaper price, because they had given me a quote originally, and they came back with it.
This is your original one, this is not the first.
No, it is not, no. And so the price there is $59.85. As you see, the price of the unit is $53.55. Then for installation and training, it's $630. It also comes with a DMX mixer And what that means is we can plug in up to 8 microphones into the mixer, so that it records and feeds into the system. And, so the total is coming out at $59.85. Now, after 1 year, the first year, there's a 1-year warranty. And then after the year, you'll see there's Diamond Service Contract. And what that takes care of is if there's a problem with the unit, as far as any hardware and support and possible any upgrades.
So,
Well, that's what I was thinking.
oh, I see, okay, yeah, okay.
Isn't it? Yeah, 240, after, yeah, if you look on that first sheet, after travel, installation, and training at 630, then after the 1-year warranty, their Diamond Service is for 240. And we're looking at the same unit, which is called the FTR Touch, with all 3 companies. So there's different vendors selling the FTR Touch.
Okay.
So we're not doing, yeah.
Is this like a portable unit? Like
It
you
is.
have something in a small portable,
It
you
is.
could take it over there?
Yes, it is portable, and that's what we wanted to look at, was in case, the one that's in the large courtroom is an older unit that is installed on the computer, and should the computer go down, then we could record. This unit we can transfer back and forth. And then later, when it's been recorded, it can be fed into the county server. But it can still record if the county server is down, it's my understanding.
In most cases, finished, you can do away with that tape, or you have to store that, or you have to keep that for the years?
Well, it's back up to the server. It's what I think.
Is it also back up to a CD? Can you report out to a CD?
I think they said you could if you wanted to, but they questioned why we wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was the comment when we had the demonstration. That was made it up. So. Now, the other 2 estimates, we had one from Carmichael, and this is the one I brought originally from Omaha. And they did come in at a higher price than the electronic office system. And then the third company is the GSS Corporation. We currently have a contract with them on the unit that is in the large courtroom, but that's the company we have not been paid for the service.
So the very first one you want to recommend?
Is the one I would recommend, yeah.
Leavenworth, as I understand, is also working with these people and they give a good review of them.
Yeah, that's where I got the information on this company. And Leavenworth had also dealt with, in fact, Leavenworth, several years ago, they needed the DSS Corporation, and they had problems with DSS also. And so then they found this company, Electronic Office Systems, and have been very pleased with them.
Is this something that we can table for a week, for efficiency?
I did a cancel a trial already because we didn't have anything. I had to cancel this morning because the other courtroom was being used. The 2 out-of-town attorneys that was scheduled 2 months ago.
Okay, well,
I mean, yes, you can cancel it, retable it as much as you want, but it is a problem already. We're having to cancel things just because we can only use one courtroom.
okay, I wasn't aware that that was.
Can I ask this, can we call a special meeting for Thursday, when we're up our canvassing the roads?
Sure. Well, we were gonna do that Monday.
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 I mean, that's what was scheduled unless you want to change things.
No, that's right, you're right, I was thinking Thursday, but you're right, it's Monday. Well, that's one thing before our regular meetings. Or we don't have a meeting that day.
Yeah, we were gonna have a meeting Monday, but I don't know what precedent is of when someone's gone, you know, but, I don't see a problem. I don't have a problem taking the recommendation. Now, is there, how long would it take them to get on this?
They have this unit in stock right now, so this is in us.
Okay, that's right.
You know,
But I
we're
mean,
getting them.
for them to get here to install it though, is there any word on that?
There's no installing it, I mean.
Well, not installing
Well, they
it.
just bring it up.
At the training.
And then the training.
Well, it's not a great dollar amount, but I would like to full commission.
Okay. That's fine.
You wanna just let us know then, us come back, or,
We can get you.
Okay.
okay.
Do you want me to go ahead and leave the sheet that Melanie signed off on? Would you like me to do that? Okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
While you're here, we have a chair in the basement. Maybe you need to come out of the speaker, Supreme Court or
Looks
something.
like a justice chair, so,
Just kind of a brown, I call it brown, type chair.
do you still need it, or?
So somebody in there got rid of it.
No, no.
I don't know if it's something we can get rid of.
Sure.
I don't think we're gonna-
Do as you please.
Well, kind of.
We're obviously not missing it, so.
Trying to clean a little of that stuff around the basement, it's been sitting down there.
You have our full permission to do whatever you want.
Did you have your great trial?
Did you?
Yeah, we did.
I
We had jury trials.
copy.
That's why he had to cancel his hearing, because I had a jury trial to do for him.
Want me to leave the other copy here too?
Is Wes coming in, or,
Have they trial? Nothing like it.
Well,
you can keep it?
Wes is down at my office,
All right, is he gonna get the rest of that?
probably.
You just wanna give a copy?
I can take it for you. Take it for you, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're close enough now. I guess, is the person gonna come here? We gotta wait till 9:30 to open the bids. Or two.
I don't think anybody else,
What's the schedule? What time is
how much
it?
It's like 5 minutes.
You might wanna, you're recording, you've only got five, I've got a few other things, I just want to pass those down,
All right.
guess, something that I didn't realize, we've got, bills for the morgue and cremation, I mean, that's the, put up this,
Is that county general?
okay.
And I'm not, do you know why?
Are these, people that are poor, or that can't
It's just
afford?
the committee is just looking at cleaning through the corner.
I just unaware of that. I just saw it, I just, what's that?
There's sometimes when we don't have any at all, and sometimes we have 6 or 7, but
Okay, well, you know, it's just, didn't expect to see that.
Before I forget it, we kind of just stopped on that lady from San Joe, correct? With the 286.
I've never pursued it any further.
I haven't done anything either, but I haven't forgotten about it. I thought that there are a couple people that are, I think there are some leads, Gary Cairo and, I can't remember the other one, but I have some notes back in my office, I just haven't looked at it yet.
And also the engineer working on the bridge plan, so, should be getting some, descriptions before too long, so they know exactly what will need to be required. I was gonna call Dave Beach from Schwab Eaton and just make sure he knew I was leaving, and the commissioners might wanna set up an appointment with him, because there's a lot going on with him, and just so something doesn't get lost in the wash.
Who was that again?
Dave Beach with Schwab Eaton. That's who's been doing our bridge inspections. He's working on the, Potato Hill Bridge project. He's working on a grant for the county for the signage on a HRR, program. That's the guy that's working on all of that.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick your brain. I had 2 calls from townships. When a new person's hired, they like to set up a meeting. Is that good or bad? Because you don't
I'd
know the
say-
bridge and you're on the township.
I'd say it'd be good just so people would know who it was and they know who they're talking to. I think it'd be that is acceptable, my recommendation would be go with it, because these are all local companies. If nobody's interested the first time, I don't know why they would be.
Correct.
And I didn't pick any companies, you know, I picked all fairly local companies that, the people that would be interested in it, so. We only have one proposal sent back, and that is from Norfolk Construction Company. It is in the amount of $157,795. And our max that, we could be reimbursed for was $160,000. So.
Is that the ballpark where you figured it would be?
Yeah, right around there. We actually, what we did, Eric, is, we could have turned in to get the bridge replaced for $120,000. We knew it was gonna be more than that. So, the state offered in this grant, if you close another deficient bridge, they would give you another $40,000. So we figured that would cover what it's gonna cost to build this bridge. The bridge is just north of there, a few miles. It's a 3-ton bridge, it's a long truck bridge, I'm not sure if you know which one I'm talking about.
I think I know where you're at, because I used to be on the mill.
It's kind of a dirt road, and I think, Hankies were the main ones that crossed the bridge.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Pretty rickety old bridge, probably like 14 feet wide,
Yeah.
but that's what we decided.
So that's one of the bridges we're gonna close, and we're gonna close another one, and basically, the state's gonna fix this bridge, correct?
Yes. We'll be responsible for 10%.
10%, that's.
Yeah, we have to, pay for the complete bridge, and then, we will send a request to the state for a reimbursement, and we will get, everything but 10% back. Norfolk Contracting, that is, who Husker Steel uses to build all our bridges. Be my recommendation to accept the bid.
Have you ever had any direct work with this Norfolk before?
Yeah, they just got done building the bridge for us at Cummings.
Okay. Well, I know there's one.
Third grade, this will be the third one.
We bought a lot of bridges from Husker Steel, and we erected them ourselves. Norfolk's only actually built one bridge for us, and that was the one that just got done. But we've bought 5 or 6 bridge kits from Husker Steel.
Okay.
But, yeah, Norfolk just got done building the one at Cummings.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but when you get a grant like this, we cannot put enough in-house, correct?
No.
It has to be hired out, so we could probably, not cheaper, but then we could use it on that one percent, you know. We might be able to buy this bridge and put it in ourselves for $110,000.
That's gonna be, the bridge itself, we just bought, I know what it cost, because we just did the one at Cummings, about exactly the same, and it was $160,000 for just materials.
And how could these people put it in for $157 and cut it up?
Because, well, I guess that was with Husker. It was a little, I was thinking that was the total price. You're right, it was about $140, I think, is what the total. So you're pretty close. Yeah, I'm sorry, I was confused on that.
I think it's either you have to put it in or do it this one out, so we can get it off. Paying $100 or $100.
Sure.
Okay, now, do we have to have a meeting to close the bridge, or can we just say that bridge is closed and that's it?
Yeah, you'll just have to, pass a resolution to close the bridge.
We'll have to notify the townships that they're in, that we're gonna close these, are they in the same township, I presume, or not?
Yeah, I believe so.
Big grasshopper?
Yeah, Grasshopper.
Now, one of them, no, because that's the center. The one bridge that we're gonna close on, but, Marlin Furman, that isn't one of them, is it?
The what?
Wasn't we gonna take that shortcut
Right,
right there
yeah.
and do away with that one bridge, is that one of them we're closing?
Not on this project, but we only had to close one bridge.
I see.
Yeah,
We're closing one and then redoing this.
Right.
So
yeah,
basically getting rid of two old structures and putting up one.
exactly. Getting rid of two deficient bridges and replacing it with one good bridge.
Well, there again, it's kind of a no-brainer, but you want to act on it, and we'll make the full commission.
I'll leave that decision to you, because, you know, I haven't been on here long enough to know, I mean, how much you do without, I mean, when Mike's gone, that was one thing, but, you know, I don't know how soon does this need to be acted on, or?
The project has to be done within 2 years. But we were pushing it through, trying to get it through early because contractors were getting busy, because every county in the state's building one of these bridges. We were just trying to get it through early enough that, they could, get started on it. Says the contractor, the tentative start date's, November 1st, 2015, so we was hoping we could get the end of the year.
But there's no, on just the acceptance of the bids, there's no time limit or time clock on that.
No.
Okay. I would like to table it, because in the past, I didn't disagree with a vote one time, but I would like to see a little bit different wording. So therefore, I would like for the full commission to be able to, I mean, it's no brainer, I mean, we're gonna do it.
Okay.
And that won't hurt you waiting a week or?
Okay, but I would recommend we table it till next week.
Vote on tabling it, or just non-action? Shall I make a motion to table it till next week? Okay, I'll make a motion that we table this, bridge bid until next week to be acted on by the full commission.
I second that.
And I will have Terry schedule, appointment for next Monday, and, cause I'll be gone, so she'll have to, bring it up, and then she'll have to contract Norfolk, tell them to have a bid and everything, so.
So if I were to schedule for Terry next Monday.
In the afternoon?
There's two motions, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried 2-0.
In the afternoon, you mean?
Yes, probably.
I mean,
Yeah, it's gotta be a separate vote meeting, it can't be accepted at the work
I mean, I have nothing yet, so if she wants to come at 1:15 or something.
1:15, probably, okay, 1:15.
Do you want me to, tell you what, I'm gonna take this bid with me if that's okay?
I just need a copy of that where it's.
And I'll look it over and make sure everything's in order and get with Terry
Okay. That would be great.
this afternoon. Just make sure, and then I'll send her up, she'll be up Monday.
Okay. So today's your official
Yep,
last day?
today's it, yep.
Well, officially, last day is here, but they got 2 weeks, and I don't think it is just 1 year.
All right, and then just.
Today's the last day on the job. Yeah, it's been a long road, but,
I wish
I
we
talked to
were
your wife, we'll get
I know that, I identified with that more than anything when the day you put in your, because that was on the township, and we said the same thing.
I see, I'm on township too.
Yeah, so, yeah, you're getting double time, triple time.
It's, for about the first 5 years, it really doesn't bother me. But the longer I was on there, the more, for the first couple of years, I mean, I'm still fairly young, and a lot of people don't even know who I am. But it's just more and more people realize that it keeps getting worse and worse. And I just look forward to, I mean, we wouldn't even go to the fair or anything like that. Wouldn't, the last few years, I was like, oh, that animal ball game stuff, and I don't like to do that just because I know they can't.
Well,
Yeah, feedback.
we wish you the best.
Yes.
We're gonna miss you.
If you can, I appreciate that. If, you can read my writing, I did write down, just a list of projects that we've had in the works, just so the commission kind of knows what's going on. And then also, I thought this might be interesting for you. This card was given to me by Norm Bowers with KAC. On side A is all the things that, you're actually supposed to have an engineer to do. The side B is what an actual, road superintendent can do without an engineer. It's pretty interesting, you might look at that. I don't have one, I'm sorry, but,
That's all right.
you can take a copy of it if you want, but, I'm not trying to sway you in any way. I've actually talked to a lot of counties that have engineers and they still farm a lot of their engineering out. But, there are a lot of tasks on there that I do that I'm actually not qualified to do. But it's kind of like that all across the state, so it's not something that is just here.
Well, I'm thankful for the information.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, on that.
I'm not saying that it would be bad to have an engineer in that position, but is that engineer actually gonna go out and be kind of hands-on if needed be? Let's say somebody calls in sick. I'm sure there's been times that you have to go out and actually do some jumping a grader, jumping a motor, do something. I find it hard to believe that you're gonna find somebody with an engineering background that's really.
They're not going to.
Second office.
They're gonna sit in the office and they'll, you know, tell you what size culvert and things like that, but as far as running through, they're not gonna do it. All the counties that have engineers have another person, foreman, or, that actually runs the crew.
I personally don't think that's the kind of thing.
There's only, I forget what the number is, but there's just a handful of engineers left in the area.
Probably larger counties.
Yeah, there's not very many left. I think it was like 11 or something like that. I did have just a couple other things. We had talked about, I got a quote from Marlack Construction to tear out a bridge on Gulch Road. I also got a quote from Martin Construction that is cheaper, but also I want you to keep in mind that it was published in the paper, their number. So Martin knew what the quote was,
That's not fair.
so it's not fair.
You also got, more on its own ground, is both sides of that road.
It's in their backyard. Just so you know, Martin's, bid was $3,975, and, Marlatt's was $4,250. But like I said, it was published, it was public knowledge, it was in the paper, so.
Now, how did that come about, just for my, I mean, how did that get out, that, and then another big come in? I
We
mean,
talked about it in an open session,
okay, I mean, I have no idea, I was just kind of curious.
about how the number got in the paper.
Yeah, yeah. So,
It was probably in the minutes,
okay,
because it was talked about in an open session.
sure,
So.
yeah, I'm not accusing, I'm just kind of curious how,
Yeah, that's not
just
bad.
how the chain of events
I mean, we all like to save money, but that, you know, that's not fair to Marlettes when they knew what the bid was and they come in a little bit cheaper.
The only other thing you do is just go to them again and have both of them
Refuse all bids and rebid it.
rebid. These are just quotes, I didn't bid it, they're just quotes, but you can have them either re-quote it or rebid it. That would be the only fair way to,
Give it an auction.
yeah.
Well, that's a good idea.
But, yeah.
That is.
Think about that.
Yeah. You may, yeah, which is also, you may. Yeah, I
You want me to-
definitely discuss that.
We're not saying we can't do nothing without them, but something like that, I'd have to think about that in a while before I make a decision.
Do you want me to make copies of these folks and leave them with you? Or do you want me to just have Terry bring them back up?
Have Terry bring it.
Okay. I'll just have Terry bring them back up next week, I'll give you some time to think about it. Okay, the last thing I have, I got, the project for Mount Pleasant Township, down on, just off of Ottawa Road. We found out the drainage was wrong and I ordered the wrong size culvert. I ordered a 6-footer, we needed a 90-inch culvert. I redid it, and Metal Culverts won that bid, $5,370. And then, Wilburn Cells bid it at $5,937.50. So I have a PO for one 90-inch culvert from Metal Culverts.
I suppose I gotta have a motion to accept the bid from,
Metal Culverts.
I'll move to accept that bid from Metal Culverts
for $5,370.
$5,370.
I will second that. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And, we'll have to sign this PO. And the tubes for Phillips Road, I believe we already have those, don't we?
Phillips, yes. It is at the shop, behind the shop there.
And then this tube that we ordered, are we in possession of that tube? We'll use it someplace else?
Yeah. It's a 6-foot culvert, you know, within a year or two, you'll find a place to put it. It's not like we'll be out.
You need to see this.
No, I think I have a
$5,370,
53 cents.
yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
Can you get that back in?
I'm sure Terry will probably ask some questions for you.
Oh, yeah, and, I have told everybody that, I'm only a phone call away. I mean, I'm still an Ashland County resident. I have no hard feelings against anybody. If there's anything I can do to help, give me a call.
Okay, I appreciate you taking the time to write some stuff down and get Rick and Terry, we appreciate that.
Right. So I'll say it's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed, serving the public. And guess, I'm kind of counting down, so.
I just don't know why you didn't take off a day or two, you're gonna go to work
I'm
tomorrow.
going to work tomorrow. Yep.
So we didn't get to work on it.
Yep, like I said, it had absolutely nothing.
No, I.
We're getting there.
Yeah, we're good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pat. If I get in trouble, I'll give you a call.
I'll have pay off.
All right. Well, Matt has left the building.
Bye, man.
Yep, see you. Bye, Pauline.
Good luck.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, neither one of you is on the agenda,
And Ray's, we were just gonna do an update, but Ray's supposed to be joining me,
so
so,
you want us to go ahead? Chase?
I don't know how long, when's the next, appointment?
We don't have another.
For the rest of the day? Oh, well, that.
Got another gym.
You need to call if you want to be put on.
I didn't realize I needed to be up there.
Short election day.
Okay. Sometime, probably 10 days ago, received a notice from Waste Management, saying that they have finalized their acquisition of Deckenbaugh.
That's the same one.
Yep.
You have extra copies, right?
Yes.
And this, we ought to be in executive session on the term contract. You can have some preliminary discussions, but the bulk of this discussion ought to be
Okay, so,
session, with me for a term contract discussion.
So do you want to have a 10-minute executive session right now?
Yeah.
I entertain a motion for executive session 10 minutes.
Also,
What's it been under?
The term contract.
With that case and two commissioners.
Is it do something?
it's
Yeah,
1:50.
1:05.
Oh, it's come back, yeah. 2:05.
2:05?
I give about 11 minutes.
Huh?
It's about 11 minutes.
2:05.
Against the property.
cylinder broke.
That was the clean deeds are, so it gives that house out there a fair on the land.
Because the county's.
No, that was not the question. Oh, but that was in question.
There needs to be an administrative.
Well,
executive
Brookridge does
session
have our
that
dumpster
turns
center,
into
it's
an
purchased
action.
by,
Okay.
But they'll look at
That's
that
nice,
and fix it.
Okay.
but,
But we
I
should.
wasn't, we should bring that, I was kind of
Yeah, right.
putting
Okay,
together.
and then you were gonna come down to the spot situation with.
Well, I initially
I
thought,
can't say.
but there are a couple other items that I need to replace first.
Yeah, can you come down?
And so,
Just please come down and we get through.
if there's something that has to be done, since they're really hurting for what, I'm sure something can be worked out.
The jump fresh,
Key, I'm gonna go together, and other people, maybe,
Oh.
advice on trade.
Your advice on where to go with this.
Okay.
It's just
Yeah.
gonna.
Okay, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
It just helps me, so I know Jim, or if anybody else in our office, so.
And, I don't do that next year.
I'm sorry.
If it's something that we
Should have been yet.
put in the
One,
twenty,
it's not, I just was, know that you did not catch you as when you're here.
Something.
Okay.
Okay.
What was the,
Thank you.
purchase order?
Oh, invoice from Merchant Tractor and Equipment for
Loading?
backhoe repairs.
Thank you, Chase.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess we're ready for Randy.
What'd you do with Commissioner Sheila today?
We're ready more.
I can believe
He
it.
is in Louisville, Kentucky on his insurance business, I remember. I don't know if it's a farm show or if it's just strictly, or if it's some kind of annual meeting there, but he said he would not be here.
That's his story, he's telling me, he's going on a cruise somewhere.
Kentucky.
Coming back with a tin.
In Kentucky.
Yeah.
That'd be a sad
Really
thing to
Kentucky.
say after last week, but anyway, we're not. Oh, just, visiting and in town and stuff by as far as, and maybe you're aware, as far as this districting idea with Leavenworth County still, just apparently last week, the Leavenworth County Commissioners revisited the idea and voted it as a negative from their side of it. So I don't know if you're aware of that.
I was not.
Okay, it's in the Leavenworth paper, so, or again, I don't think Extension had representation at that meeting when that happened, so. We're, at least that's the county, I mean, it really does, probably leave some, well, can't move forward as quickly as it's hoping to anyway. So, basically just trying to keep you informed as far as where we think we are or we're not, and we're probably not moving at this point in time.
Would you pursue a different county?
Well, you know, it's really Leavenworth's no is a no. We, as Exton County, and that's where the board really look at, and we did have a little bit of that discussion last week as far as just as an alternative. Probably would look at districting and whether that means with another county or another district, bill, that's probably where the board was kind of looking at it. Yes, still probably looking at districting, Leavenworth was, as first option, probably is look at what visiting had happened. So there, I don't know last week at their meeting, other than they did visit the issue and voted not to go forward with the resolution. So whether that means there still is an opportunity to come back and visit with those commissioners, if they are open-minded about it and still have questions, or if they're just strictly against it, I don't know, Bill, maybe you've got better.
You might have done that, Caroline, maybe.
Did Carol get very involved in this, Carol?
I voted. I can't really, I don't really know what their staff was doing on that bill, as far, or even the board, as far as visiting with commissioners, what happened, what didn't happen, I really don't know, Bill.
It maybe she's relatively new as an extension agent, and so that's maybe a little different footing to go on when Ray and I have been around for a while, and maybe are a little more comfortable just coming and visiting with you guys.
She's usually pretty persuasive.
Well, this might be, still may be your opportunity, but it's, Leavenworth County Extension Board met last night. I've not visited with them, I visited with their office just to see, what their thinking was after they as a board met. With that happening last Thursday, they would have had the weekend and whatever to kind of think about it, and so whether they have personal contact with commissioners who can ask questions, answer questions, I don't know either exactly how that's going to play out. But like I say, basically just informally wanted to stop by and kind of keep you informed. At the same time, if you knew of anything on what they were thinking.
I would say this, just to make you feel a little better. The commissioners, before Eric got on, was discussing stuff, and we thought, well, we had a good plan. And when it was time to put the plan in place, they changed their mind on this, they changed their mind on this. Go back to.
Okay, well,
maybe I'm not a attorney here, but we've had promises from you when we were at the last meeting, not from you, but from the group about, we've got historical data, and to my knowledge, that's never been presented to us. You've never really made your case, I understand. Hey, we're thinking about this, and then, we've got info, and so that really ought to be shared. And I think probably something a little more specific than, because they have presented the anecdotal evidence of the other units, the other districts having levies that were way above 3. And of course ours being at 1 or less than 1. And there's the half.
There's been a little bit less than half, I think, if I see their figures right. And you're right, Pat, as far as there are some districts that 2.5 and higher. So whether or not that can be revisited as far as information, just to kind of show
I don't know about what those are. I don't think that really matters. I think really what a plan is on what you could do with 0.75 mils or, whatever the current one is, and whether it's still something that would be interesting to you, or whether it would be beneficial, because it's not your fault, because you weren't given a chance to make your case, because you went to say, hey, let's talk about it, and they said, this isn't really your meeting.
We appreciate Commissioner Shealy kind of saying, yeah, go ahead and come on, but, it was your work group session, and, but that's good to know as far as if Leavenworth County Extension finds out that Leavenworth County Commissioners are still receptive to that, then just kind of tell them what are the specific.
The only objection I heard from them is the they didn't want to lose control of the mill
Push it
levy.
in and.
They didn't want to give that to someone else who had the authority to raise it. And maybe there's more to it, because
I think you're hitting the nail on it.
but, I mean, we have that, the statute and the Attorney General opinions are really clear that you can put in the operating agreement, a limit to the mill levy that's effective.
Yeah,
So,
now, you're aware of that, Mr. Van, but,
yes, I emailed it to him during our meeting,
okay.
because he wasn't aware of
Okay.
that. And I,
Well, thank you.
maybe that was a little snotty to do it during the meeting.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, then, I was gonna- we appreciate that. I was gonna say that Times article talks about, I think there's still a question of whether you can legally cap that. And as we did research, and I mean, there's a PowerPoint that's ready for presentation for Commissioner kind of that case. But as you look historically at districts, I mean, even like Meadowlark to the west of us,
When you turn it on.
it was their board because there was a cap, and then when they started, there wasn't a cap, and they were the ones that self-imposed, and really where that 3 point comes in as you get little counties like Elk and Chautauqua down south,
Okay.
and I think a 3 mil raises about $150,000 between the two counties, so there's just not valuation there to do it, where you look at Leavenworth, Atchison, there's about, so closest is probably Saline County, and I mean, interesting with Saline County is it started kind of, I think, 1.2, it really went down every year except a couple of years when they had cash reserve, and I think this year they had such high turnover with a part-time staff, they ended up going full-time, but they've been pretty tight with funds, and it's very conservative, you don't see them raising.
Yeah, I think a 3 mil for Aspen, that would be about 4.2.
Oh, yeah, so we would.
I think big dollars,
Yeah,
yeah,
we
we would
would-
not be, we're just not used to it, and there's no reason to even think they would get started up at that.
Yeah, I mean, so.
Well, what could you do with the current funding? I mean, could you improve services with the current funding levels?
Locally here, or are you saying with
Yeah.
combined?
If you were combining the two in the district, could you-
That would be the defense as far as districting, as far as you do have stronger specific programming, specialization, so you would, districts that are existing would see that they are getting more specific into, subject matter for their clientele, for the agent. Instead of being a generalist, so to speak, you do have more of a specific subject matter, and then you still have some of the generalist, information that you share.
Yeah, I mean,
Correct me if I'm wrong, that would increase your budget by 250,000, correct? If you did the one with the current, what they're contributing and what we're contributing?
When you combine that budget, in fact, the first budget becomes a combining of the two, and then that district board, becomes the budget setters, so to speak, and
Yeah, but what Pat's question was, could you district with the current 1 mil we're giving you and the 0.5 mil they're giving?
oh, that's where you would start at.
start that first year.
So they're not pulling that 0.5 mil away from Norman County, are they?
Just for the year.
So that,
Kind of set for a year.
so that first year, so if we've gone into a district in July, that first year until 16 of July, we work on the two county budgets, so that 0.5 mil, our mil. Then actually, it's that local board that you as commissioners would appoint in that process of getting in a district, and they would set the budget for the
I know
following.
if Norman County's not willing to give more than that 0.5 mil, let this board come back and say, we want 1.5 mil, then what's Norman County commissioners?
Well, that's,
They're gonna say no.
well, I mean, it's kind of like, you as commissioners, you've got boards that you collect mill levies for, because you really don't have say-so over, what, road, township boards? So,
We don't levy for them.
but you collect.
We collect for everybody, we collect for the city.
So no, you don't set their budgets, but yet you collect, and so it's one of those, it would be similar to that as far as commissioners do not have specific, budgetary, say over that district board.
Yeah, that's
but
So that,
they would basically, Leavenworth would
So we go back to that
be,
resolution.
giving up their right to keep, I mean, if they let this go the way you're saying, join together, after a year, that it could go, I mean, they wouldn't have the final veto on the budget then, all right?
But, right, but if you write that cap in there, I mean, I think Bill had suggested a 1.5, that I think both extension boards would be open to, then, I mean,
And that's where the cap came in.
they could cap in there, but you gotta really pass the resolution before you can even top the cap as far as, and maybe Pat could tell me differently, but I think, is that just?
No, you'd have to have the operating agreement.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have the operating agreement, but you have to have a resolution before you do the operating agreement.
Well, I don't think you're going to get a resolution until you have an operating agreement.
I mean, I think we could almost do them the same day with that discussion, it's just A happens before B, really, but.
so that may be where the extension board finds out in Leavenworth County and in Ashland County that we as two counties, have to work on that operational agreement to assure, well, Leavenworth County Board, or we can both find out, Leavenworth County says, no, we are going to be the budget controllers, and that's probably Bell's extension in Leavenworth County. Well, this screen is an okay idea, but with the commissioners, it may not be the time. So when does it become the time, gets to be a question if it's new commissioners or just members. So anyway, okay.
I would suggest that you get with Leavenworth County, set up a meeting with the Leavenworth commissioners, talk to them face to face, and you better see what's the problem? What is the problem? What do you want?
What's the concern? What's the thing?
The concern is the mill rates.
And
So would that answer it though, I mean, do you think if we, I mean, and you don't have to answer that, but I mean, that capping, is that?
If you asked them what the problem was, then you'd know, then you'd think about it, and you'd say, well, what if we do this, or can we do this? What do you suggest we do?
Would a cap eliminate your concerns, you know, on that, if there was a cap written into the
operation.
And now I would have to back up and say, I would go for a mill, and they don't have to be the top, but if they don't go for that much, I would wanna go with the same amount they go for the mills. And I don't think that's being unfair, I think that's being. That's what I would suggest.
I think you know the personalities better than I do. I saw that one time, so yes, you do know the personalities and they're, and like I said the last time I was there, we in Ashland County, we do appreciate the ability just to pop in to the commissioners when you're meeting and have a little visit. Anything else?
I've only attended one meeting, but, if you have one that says go, you have two that says stop. If you know where I'm coming from.
So on these other issues that Ashland and Leavenworth County is hoping to come to agreement, Alan, do you see hope for some of those still to come back?
I had high hopes for a long time, but I don't foresee any hopes now, do you, Pat?
Well, I think it's gonna have to come from Leavenworth, that is your board down in Leavenworth is gonna have to be their commissioners. City board.
No, I think what Ray was getting at, does he think Leavenworth County is going to be willing to work past the county, decide to redistrict?
Well, we'll see, yeah.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Let's get to it.
It's just, I mean, basically informed, and it's got what campus going on, so there's good things to report out of extension. I have about 30 teams this year tonight, so,
What else you get to do now?
yeah.
The adjournment and go?
Go home, let's do the city commission election.
So what's your election, you got 17 election spots you're responsible for, did I just count that number wrong?
16, yeah, 17. I don't think it's very good, 'cause only 4's called in, and they just have 80 on their book.
I thought it would be real low turnout.
I thought maybe the state would be more, or maybe after 5 there might be more.
So like Aaron said, how many voters in a good day do you get, would you guess?
And all depends on the election. If it's,
So like this election,
probably not. It's not very.
is it 20?
No, it could be a higher than that. I mean, you don't know.
No.
Farmers.
National,
People. Your
national,
national is really high.
it pulls them in nationally, but,
What about this?
yeah. You guys talked about that, county government day, or just, well, that's.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Rick.
Keep us informed.
All right.
Do you want to do these bids?
Just, I seen in the paper there that county commission was named in a lawsuit with the junction. What's that about?
It's a mortgage foreclosure. We're named in every mortgage foreclosure case that's filed.
Okay.
Because
Tax money in.
it's because of, property taxes.
Okay, well,
That's,
I hadn't even, I've read that and somebody said, you guys are named again, I'm going, what's this? You know, I figured it'd be something that was talked about before I got here, so.
you know, I file, an answer probably one a week, one every other week maybe, and I never mention it to you, if you wanna start.
Yeah, no, that's fine, you know, I'm just, I'm learning, so it's like, I see this as kind of.
Does Harrison County have anything to worry about in the Hollister case?
Never what?
The Hollister case, or you talking about that? Okay.
We haven't talked about it in the executive session, or I can talk to you outside the meeting,
Okay.
individually.
It's been nice to see either printed his name, I thought, maybe somebody else has it. Oh, this is on the table. We got one on the table.
Hope there's at least, yeah, hit the gavel quick.
Huh?
Hit the gavel quick, I haven't heard the price of it sold.
The table, but I don't know this guy. He's offering $75, but I don't,
Is that the only thing?
that's the only one on the table.
That could be.
Who is it?
Well, I mean, it looks like it's definitely a GMP.
Let's see what the print is. It's on the table. So you have 5 bids on that, on the shelving. You have, they're all different. There's one for 10 from George Pruitt. There's one for 15 from Roger Denton. There's one for 20 from Chase, UMPHENOUR.
Something else.
And one from 2025 from Irene Linsky.
So it was high.
Irene Linsky, it's 25 cents. But I guess I could ask Amanda.
That looks like wind or?
I don't know.
I don't know.
People in their city.
I don't know how we're gonna, assess that.
I'll have,
Maybe we don't know who, we don't know who it is from, but.
let me call down and see if Amanda or Dad put a bid in on it.
Gary,
I think it was a Gary.
I'm seeing a G and a Y, but Gary Pate, P-A-T-E, Pete? Pate?
We just make a motion to
Hey,
accept,
Amanda,
take it
just
out
call
on the table and leave it.
Did your dad put a bid in on the?
Yeah,
The city
trying to
hall?
figure out who it is.
Okay.
Put them all in each other's,
Your
make
signature.
sure it's the person.
Okay. Thanks. Bye. George Pruitt, at the table.
George. Good.
He runs, Lopez.
Huh?
He runs Lopez, but
He's the one who brought that other thing. I entertain a motion to sell the table in the basement to George Pruitt for $75 and the bookcases to Irene Zuski
Lucy.
for $22.50 or $20?
25.
125.
Also,
I will second.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
aye.
So, you want those out at, this week?
Today is Tuesday. Yeah, if they can get them out this week, it would be appreciated.
Okay. Okay.
Table's gonna be tough. I don't know if we can get with the sheriff and have him have a couple of inmates go over and put the table in some location, or just want to leave it as is and let George get. He got the bookcase out there, that secretary, so.
I'm gonna say, isn't the three people that bid on it, isn't that their problem?
That's true, that's true.
I wouldn't,
As is work.
yeah. I mean, if there's somebody there that wants to help when they're there, but to try to set something up for them.
Okay.
on the, are we having a meeting on the 13th and on the 14th?
No, it's 13.
Yeah.
We're gonna canvass at 9 and then do our regular work session at 10, and then regular meeting at 1.
You don't be available that day, or?
That's what we had planned, you know.
Yeah, I think so. I'll have to look at this report for a little bit. Then the week after that, the 20th and the 21st, I'm going to be gone to a municipal judges conference. So I won't be here the next week. Okay. The 20th and 21st.
Oh, and I won't be here the week of the 27th. I'm going to Williamsburg, Virginia.
28th?
27th, the 27th?
27th is on Monday.
Okay, 28th, 27th, 28th, and 29th. Election, commission, meeting.
For print,
That's right.
it's sticker, and I didn't know this.
When is this due? Yeah, just-
Do you know if we got any applications for road and bridge yet, Paul?
I haven't
Haven't seen any.
seen any.
Is it officially posted yet?
I think so.
Is it? Okay.
I believe it is. Yeah, we got that email with the final draft.
Yes, I've seen the final draft, but I
presume when we all responded to James, she posted it.
I read the final draft, and, but I didn't say
think there's anything here we gotta sign, oh, wait,
Mm-mm.
I didn't see that. Just sign this through here.
It won't work.
Do you have anything else you want to discuss, Pat? Do you have anything here?
I can't think of anything else. Oh, I should have, when Matt was here, I forgot, somebody was, that new bridge that they put there by Cliff Olson's there, he said there's a beaver dam right in there, kind of neat there, and it's backing water up. He said, do the county guys, will they go in there with tobacco and break that, or, he didn't really know if it was, he thought they could probably just set right on there with a backhoe and reach down in there and pull that up. And I'd written a note down and I forgot what it was here. I can bring that up in the future. I told him, I said, I didn't know what, something like that, if the county boys would do that. So it's back in Waterford Creek, and he said, there's a road to the north there, he said, if somebody would go down in there, he said, water's so deep, he said, they're gonna drown. He said, okay, well, I'll try to notify him, and I may just stop by the house or something on my own too, or,
Well, have we covered everything on the agenda?
I didn't realize that the recording device was that time sensitive, that they were without. I didn't. I don't remember them indicating before that they were without a recorder.
Well, I think that's relatively new, I think one of them quit working,
Okay.
so they
Yeah,
won't
so
have
we
to.
have to probably do that. Let me ask you a question, I don't think this is necessary. The court system is kind of on their own, we really don't have a whole lot to do with it. Is this something, let's say, should our IT look at this, or is that not necessary?
Yeah, I think it is something.
You want me to do that?
Involved with, yeah.
Well, we got the original.
Right here. That's when we get it to you.
Yeah, well, I guess one more minute. Better make a copy of that yellow sheet of the engineer. I thought that's. I was really pleased with Matt's attitude, you know, helping, you know, Leslie is still concerned about things, he's helping Terry, he's giving us these notes.
Right here was the most impressive thing I had. He kind of gives us a ground what he was kind of having to work.
Absolutely, I felt a little bit.
That's been a great. Well, I don't want to shun any duties by the board, but if we have nothing else, I guess I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second that. All those, I just want to get this a vote, we make sure, all those in favor say aye. Aye. We are officially adjourned, folks.
Okay.
I never asked you, you did, I guess you didn't have nothing.
Me?
Yeah.
All right. Does any of this need to be signed or?
I'm gonna take this down
Huh? What's it?
I'm gonna say this button keeps falling off, but no more, longer we're gonna be here, there's no need of really,